This that
Red Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?
This that Red Panda Anthem.
Red Panda, what's good?
Red Panda Anthem.
But there is a thing called middle class mediocre mindset. I think I've coined that phrase. I haven't heard anybody else say it. But I was just thinking about it, and it's extremely detrimental to your success if you're trying to break out of it. And you don't really realize it until you're out of it. It's like the Matrix. You never really realize you're in the Matrix until you break out of the Matrix.
Fact.
And 19 Keys has said something, and I actually looked it up on YouTube, and it's actually true, where they did a research study where they took flies and they put them in a jar.
Mm-hmm.
And they put a cap on a jar, and the flies obviously can only fly as high as the cap, the lid. When they took the lid off, they still only flew as high as the lid, even though the lid was off. That's interesting. But what's even more interesting is that when they had children, their children only flew as high as the invisible lid, because they were already programmed that that's only as high as you can go. So, it's interesting, like, so many different things when I think about it. And you probably don't even realize these things happen. But you ever heard like parents tell their children, like, you just played yesterday. You just had fun yesterday. You just had a party yesterday. Like, you can only have fun one day out of the week. You can only have a party one day. Like, I had a family, like, I took my son to dinner in the city for his birthday. His birthday was on a Tuesday. And somebody said, like, well, why are you taking him to the city on Tuesday? Like, why don't you just take him on the weekend? And I'm like, well, because his birthday's on Tuesday. But that's the whole mentality of like, let's just wait till the weekend because we're working and we gotta get up. Like, I say that to say, you really have to break out of the middle class mindset, because it's extremely detrimental. And the most dangerous thing that America ever did was create a middle class. Because when you create a middle class, you create some level of comfort, because you're not in poverty, right? Mm-hmm. You're not in poverty. So you think that you actually are living the American dream. You're not. You're really not. And it's like, that mindset is so detrimental because there's so many limiting factors that go into play here, right? Where it's like, you got to wait till the weekend to do things. And you can only, like, you ever hear somebody say, like, you just came back from a trip. Why are you traveling so much? Well, why not? Well, why not? Why am I not traveling so much?
We worked for.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why am I not traveling? It's a lot of these things that you have to be extremely careful of the kind of people that you're around, because these kind of limiting words develop habits in your subconscious, and then you feel bad about it. You feel guilty about going on a trip. You feel guilty about going out 2 nights in a row. You feel guilty about going to the city on Tuesday. Like, you start to like reel it back a little bit. Like, no, I'm doing too much. Let me pull back. But at the highest level, there's no limitations. And I'm speaking from firsthand experience because I see it. So when we in Dubai or Abu Dhabi on a Wednesday, nobody knows whether it's Wednesday or Saturday or Sunday. It doesn't matter.
It's just living life.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Nobody says it's 4 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing out? Nobody says it's 6 o'clock. You have to get up. There's really no rules in life. At the highest level, there's no rules. Rules are only for middle class and poor people. Rich people don't have any rules. They make their own rules. So,
and we can argue that the middle class died after Clinton left office.
Yeah. So it's extremely important to understand that. And like I said, I'm not even speaking from a level of like condescending, but I'm speaking from firsthand experience, because I've seen both hands of it. Like, this is how I grew up. So now when I'm in a different environment, but I always thought like that, but you start to see it. You start to see things, and it's like, damn, it's hard to even get people to understand that the way that they're thinking is so small and so limiting. So you don't even waste your time. But for everybody that's watching it, you're on your pathway to generational wealth. You're on your pathway to success. You're on your pathway to becoming, a superstar in the entrepreneur world, whatever you want to do with your life. So just be mindful of that, because a lot of times your limitations that have been laid down from you, from your parents, your grandparents, your friends, your neighbors. So just be mindful of that. It's very important.
And a quick exercise real quick. So it doesn't come off as elitist, because, I don't want to end up on Shade Room or nothing.
Shade Room. Please, I'm hoping to end up on Shade Room. We need Shade Room. We need that. $500 dinners coming back.
Now you understand us.
$500 dates coming back. Polygamy.
It's the only way they'll listen.
Polygamy coming.
That's the only thing they're gonna listen to.
Diddy vibes. What we doing?
The only thing they're gonna listen to.
My man had a baby. Anyway, please write in chat if money was not an object or issue. What are the 3 things you would do spending your day on? It's very important to set that. I remember when I set the decision to become an investor and trader, I'm like, man, I just want to be able to trade, not have to talk to anyone regarding doing business and be able to make money out of the ether. And man, I have to bust my ass to be able to get there, but that manifested. I will tell you that the middle class has died, though. Even I know a lot of people are mad about that quote from Grant Cardone on if he only made X amount of dollars per year. That
400,000.
But the truth is,
Took it a little too far.
Yeah, a little bit.
if did he though?
No, I mean some things you can't say. Some things you can't say.
That's why I respect it. Okay, now if we're gonna be honest, because now I got some energy, right?
6,400 people on YouTube. Let's go.
Ian and Rashad about to argue
Let's
over
go.
Grant.
Let's go.
Well,
This is what they want. This is what they want.
the truth is, though, he was
guys.
right. Because if it's not just about you, I don't want you to make $500,000 to go blow it on Balenciaga and Mike and Mary and all that, right? But let's say if you're going to help 5 people in your family, how much does it cost to help 5 people in your family and take care of all your stuff and be debt free? There's a cost. So I want you guys, one of my favorite exercises of Money Master the Game. How much money do you need to retire you and 3 people that you love and give everyone that you love a soft life? You know, because when I don't even want mine to wash no dishes or nothing.
Yeah, I'm not.
Right?
That's not the part that was like, all right, maybe you shouldn't say. I think the word ashamed is what triggered me personally. Like, if
Grant being a great marketer, you don't think he did that?
I get the marketing part of it. I'm just saying, right? If you're in pursuit of that, like everybody has a threshold, right? Like when you're saying, like, hey, we got to prepare for where we want to go, right? And so sometimes when you're in the grind, I talked about that on I think that was Drink Champs when we were talking about when we're in that survival mode. Yeah, we can have the goal of 400,000. We can have the goal of 15 million, but I got to work on the day to day. I might be in pursuit of it. Should I feel ashamed that I'm not there yet? I don't think so. Like that word I think is what triggered. Like if you're not there now, great, you might be in pursuit of it.
Okay. Yeah.
We can't knock the people that's in pursuit of it.
You can't disrespect people. You can't disrespect.
I don't think he was saying it to disrespect, but it did come. That's how he said it.
The tone, the tone. The tone.
What you say is how you say it, right? Yeah. So, ashamed, I think, is a strong word. Like I personally haven't hit what my personal income goal is ever. I'm mad that I haven't hit it yet. Meta, write my check so I can hit it. But I think we have to have realistic goals because, unrealistic goals, because the truth is a person that has hit a realistic goal 25 times, it's not a good feeling to hit that goal and be like, fuck, I should have asked for more, should have did more, should have pushed for more. I should have been not only going after Meta, but every top 1,000 company on earth at the same time.
But then what I also realize is that even like being around billionaires and hanging around people that's extremely wealthy, 9 figures, the goal is never money.
Yeah.
So the goal is creating something that is going to change the world. The goal is creating, that's the goal, right? So even
helping people create something.
Yeah. So even the money, I think that it's not really about money. And that's why I wanted to say with the middle class mindset, it's not necessarily the money, because you could still make a lot of money and still have a middle class mindset, right? It's liberating yourself from the shackles of the oppression that was put on you from people. And it was
how much does that cost though?
Well, it depends.
If you're in New York, how much does it cost? Well,
first, so for me personally, right? Before I had any money, I was already liberated. I didn't have no money, and I was already on that type of time. I never had a real job. I was always waking up whenever I wanted. I was always doing. I went to Asia for 30 days. I wasn't rich when I did that, and it's like people were saying that at that time. Like I went to Asia. Me and Jamal, we went to Asia 5 years ago for 30 days with a round trip plane ticket and 2 nights in a hotel with no plan. We winged it. We went to 5 different countries. And people are like, well, why would you go and do that? You got 2 types of people in this world. You got one type of people that say why, and the other type that say why not.
Mm-hmm.
So they say, like, why are you going to do it? Well, why not? Because I'm going to die one day. And if I don't do it, then I'm never going to have an opportunity to do it. So instead of asking me why I'm going to do it, ask yourself why you're not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't really take money to kind of have that. First, mine makes money. Money doesn't make the person. Your mind is the most important thing, period.
Absolutely.
Once you get your mind right, then the money's just going to come flowing because now you're in abundance mindset and you're attracting it. You're attracting it. But what you're doing with these negative thoughts and these limiting thoughts is that you're actually blocking it. So it's extremely important for people to understand that, because I feel like a lot of times people don't fully understand how their mind is so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and even the things that you tell your children, just be careful how you speak to your children, because it's like you're already instilling fear. You're already instilling different things in them that you might not even be aware of. And it's like they're already growing up with limitations and fear at 10 years old, at 8 years old.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
This is an interesting thought exercise.
Yeah.
Everyone in chat, if you had to make $2 million in 3 months, write out at what price point would you sell your product? How many do you need to sell? And what's your plan to get there? One of my favorite things to do is reverse engineer. How do you get from this point, and what are the steps you need to take to get back there? For me personally, when I was investing, I was watching CNBC like crazy, and it was Maria Bartiromo and Santinelli and everybody back in the day, right? And I'm like, if they would just give the prices and fundamentals, right? So that's when I started working on the formulation that became the crystal ball. So I thought you should be able to like know the fundamentals of a company and give the price in like less than 30 seconds, right? So everyone in chat, $2 million, 3 months. What is your formulation? But it all started with the problem. When I was watching CNBC in 2008, the information wasn't that clear. And here we are today in 2022, 2023, doing this for you guys for free at scale, right? Shout out to y'all. But whatever you put into your mind eventually will manifest. And for my Christians, I keep saying it. How can you be a child of God and be afraid to put your ideas, proclamations, products, and services out into the world and serve him? And he made the moon, mountain, stars, grasshopper. Man, go get that shit this year. $2 million in 3 months. What's your plan?
Yeah.
You know what changed my life? This is the last thing I'll say about this. You know what changed my life? Because even in social media, I always tell this story. I wanted to do this 8 years ago, what we're doing now. I wanted to do it 8 years ago. But, you know, it's fear, it's self-doubt, it's thinking like, you know, what will people think of me? I have 500 followers in I had a private page with 500 followers. This is just reality.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Finally, how many years ago was this?
This when we started?
Yeah, when you have 500 followers. That
was like 6 years ago.
Life could change in half a decade, yo. Like
that was like 6 years ago. But you know what I realized? I had an epiphany that I'm going to die. Once you embrace death, you're not afraid to live. I'll say that again. Once you embrace death, you're not afraid to live, because you realize that we're all going to die one day. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, somebody's opinion of you doesn't matter. What people think of you don't matter. What people are going to say about you doesn't matter, because it's like, it's a very short period of time that we have on this earth. So you might as well just make the most of it, because what's the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen is just doesn't work out. But it's like, if you never tried, or if you never really went for it, now you got to live with regret. And regret is much harder to live with than failure. You can live with failure. It didn't work. People fail all the time. But to live with regret is much harder to deal with, because you never know what's going to happen. So nobody wants to be on their deathbed when they're 70 years old, 80 years old, 90, whatever. And it's like, damn, I wasted my whole life. I really didn't do anything because I was afraid of what my friend would have wrote on Instagram.
Yep.
This that
Red Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?
Red Panda Anthem.
Rap Panda, what's good?